Welcome to City Hall, and thank you all for joining us this evening. We'll call this meeting to order, and with us today is Reverend Ben Staley of Chapel Hill United Methodist Church to provide our invocation. Following that invocation, we will have the Pledge of Allegiance, and we ask that you please stand for both.
Let's pray together. Oh Lord, we give you thanks for the freedom that we have to meet together tonight and to decide our own future. With this comes responsibility to be good stewards of all that you've provided for us. So give us all wisdom for making decisions that will lift our community, to be people who trust in you and who care and respect for one another. Thank you for our city leaders. In addition to wisdom, we pray that you would give them generous hearts and moral courage to lead in things that are pleasing to you, in ways that would satisfy your agenda for this city. We pray for those in our city who are less fortunate, who need help and hope, those who are homeless or sick, without jobs, who are struggling in various ways. Help business leaders and all the various companies in Wichita that we might find ways to give support to one another and to demonstrate the heart and mind of Christ. We pray that you would preside over this meeting through our leaders, and we'll give you praise for it all in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Reverend Staley. We have approval of the minutes for the meeting of May 28, 2024. Any changes or corrections? I see none. We will have a voice vote. All those in favor say aye.
Excuse me, I need a motion.
Motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Sorry. Got ahead.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. We will have a voice vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 7-0. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
We have awards and proclamations. Tonight, the proclamations are the LGBTQIA+ Pride Month, Sunflower Summer Program Kickoff, Global Runny Day, and awards are Citizens Fire Academy graduation.
May I please have the Wichita Pride Incorporated come forward? Good evening. I have Councilmember Glasscock. The proclamation reads, the city of Wichita, Kansas, founded in 1870, whereas the Stonewall Uprising began in New York City 55 years ago this month, on June 28, 1969, Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera, transgender activists who worked on behalf of homeless LGBTQ youth, and years later for those affected by HIV/AIDS crisis, were both key figures in this groundbreaking movement. Pride was first celebrated a year later on June 28, 1970, organized by activists Brenda Howard, Craig Rodwell, and his partner Fred Sargent, Ellen Boddy, and Linda Rhodes. An estimated 96,000 Kansans identify as lesbian, gay, bisexual, and/or transgender. Pride has continued to be celebrated over the last 55 years and includes people who identify as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, among other sexualities and gender identities. and reinstated by Governor Laura Kelly, Kansas forbids employment discrimination based on sexual orientation or gender identity for state employers and state contractors, as well as protections in place to prevent discrimination. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Lily Wu, Mayor of the City of Wichita, Kansas, along with the Wichita City Council, do hereby proclaim June 2024 as LGBTQIA+ Pride Month in the City of Wichita, and encourage all citizens to recognize this community within our state, country, and world, as each human deserves the same dignity, respect, and treatment, no matter who they love or how they identify.
Good evening and thank you. My name is Jim Hall, and I'm honored to be president of Wichita Pride, a role I never really thought I would want or have, because it's lots of work. Every year at this time, I get requests for interviews in the, I think, 3 years that I've done this. And I've only been back in Wichita for about 6 years. I went off to school at KU, went off to the medical center, went off to Houston, thinking I would never come back to Wichita. Wichita is a much different place than it is today, and I'm pleased to be back here. About this time every year, I get lots of interview requests, and I get asked, why do we do Pride? You know, we've made a lot of advances. We've come a long way. We still have a long way to go, but we've come a long way. There's one reason that sticks for me, because every year it's someone's first time. It's someone's first time to know community, that they're no longer outcasts, that they find their own community and can feel comfortable with that. And it is with great pleasure I accept this proclamation. I'm so glad that we're able to do this. And I invite any of you. We had a kickoff last Sunday. I'm sorry, I can't even keep these in my head. We've had so many. And we had 3 events last weekend. We have events every weekend from now until the end of the month, culminating with the parade on the 29th, the festival on the 29th, and the closing party at NAFSCAR Park, which is just going to be a big old dance party that night. So you're always welcome. Thank you.
Can we please ask the City of Wichita Arts and Cultural Services to please come forward? The proclamation reads, the City of Wichita, Kansas, founded in 1870, whereas the Kansas Department of Education and Department of Tourism want families to get out, explore something new, and enjoy time together, and has thus established the Sunflower Summer Program. The Sunflower Summer Program provides a wide variety of opportunities for Kansas families to visit museums, zoos, and historic landmarks free of charge. There are several Wichita area attractions participating in this program, including Botanica, City Arts, Exploration Place, the Kansas Aviation Museum, Kansas Wildlife Exhibit, Sedgwick County Zoo, Great Plains Nature Center, the Mid-America All-Indian Museum, the Ulrich Museum of Art, and the Wichita Art Museum. And in the greater Wichita area, the Field Station Dinosaurs and Tanganyika Wildlife Park. These attractions provide invaluable educational and culturally enriching programs, and these attractions have a significant impact on the local economy. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Lily Wu, Mayor of the City of Wichita, Kansas, along with the Wichita City Council, do hereby proclaim the Sunflower Summer Program kickoff in the City of Wichita, and encourage all citizens to download the Sunflower Summer app and visit one of the many attractions the Wichita region and state of Kansas have to offer.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council. On behalf of the Wichita Attractions Council, thank you very much for the proclamation. We're excited. On behalf of the over 15 different locations in Wichita and the greater metro area that participate in this, we want to say thank you to those who have already visited. And if this is your first time learning about the Sunflower Summer Program, I'd encourage you to get out your phones that they told you to put away in silence right now. But get them out and go to the App Store, whether it's Google or Apple, and download the Sunflower Summer. It's good for all kids who are Kansas residents in school, doesn't matter if it's public, private, or homeschool, and their parents or grandparents or guardians. You can add all of those in there. Go and visit any of the attractions on that. There are over 200 across the state that you can visit during the summer months, and it's free admission for all those that are registered on there. And so please come out and visit us. Thank you again very much, and we look forward to seeing you this summer.
Thank you. Thank you for not stealing my piece of paper. May I please ask the Run Wichita group to please come forward at this time. The proclamation reads, "The city of Wichita, Kansas, founded in 1870, whereas running is an activity enjoyed by millions around the globe, promoting physical fitness, mental well-being, and community spirit, and Global Running Day, observed on the first Wednesday of June each year, celebrates the sport of running and encourages people of all ages and abilities to get moving. Running is a universal language that transcends borders, cultures, and backgrounds, fostering unity and understanding among diverse populations. The city of Wichita recognizes the importance of promoting healthy lifestyles and physical activity among its residents. And the city of Wichita acknowledges the positive impact of running on individual health, community vitality, and environmental stewardship. Now, therefore, be it resolved that I, Lily Wu, Mayor of the City of Wichita, Kansas, along with the Wichita City Council, do hereby proclaim June 5th, 2024 as Global Running Day in Wichita and encourage all citizens to lace up their running shoes, hit the streets, trails, or tracks, and join in the celebration of this joyous occasion. Let us embrace the spirit of Global Running Day by embracing the pavement, trails, and paths of our city, promoting fitness, friendship, and fun for all."
Thank you so much for this proclamation. I am truly honored to accept it on behalf of the entire running community. This day isn't just about the physical act of running, it's about the spirit of health, wellness, and community that running fosters. We encourage everyone to take part tomorrow in Global Running Day, and we invite you to our community run at Fartlek's at 6 p.m., where all ages, backgrounds, and abilities will be represented and welcomed. Thanks again for supporting running and community in Wichita.
See you tomorrow. Do you want me to bring back? Thank you again. May I please ask the Wichita Fire Department and the Citizens Fire Academy graduates to please come forward at this time. It brings me great joy to extend my heartfelt gratitude to every one of the individuals participating in this year's Citizens Fire Academy. Your commitment to learning and engaging with the Wichita Fire Department firefighters is genuinely commendable. I'm particularly proud of the personal growth and empowerment you have experienced during this academy, as you have not only gained knowledge, but also developed skills that make a real difference in our community's safety. The fire department designed this academy with a purpose to foster a deeper understanding of fire and emergency medical operations and to encourage meaningful interaction between our citizens and the dedicated men and women who selflessly protect our community. Today, I stand before you to express my profound appreciation for the firefighters who courageously ensure our safety day in and day out. They go above and beyond the call of duty, working tirelessly to safeguard our city and responding swiftly when we need them most. Their mission is not just a job, but a commitment to our community's safety and well-being. I understand that during your time in the academy, you have gained a firsthand awareness of the extensive responsibilities our firefighters shoulder. Moreover, you have become acutely aware of the dangers posed by fire and the critical measures we can take to prevent such incidents in our community. Through engaging in hands-on activities such as CPR, search and rescue, technical rescue, hazardous materials, vehicle extrication, fire extinguisher training, and engine truck operation, you have experienced the challenges our department faces on a daily basis. Now equipped with this newfound knowledge, you have the power to make a significant impact. I encourage each of you to take up the important role of spreading fire safety awareness within our community. Your ability to disseminate this crucial information will contribute to creating a safer environment for all. And those who discovered a profound passion during this academy, I am pleased to inform you that we're actively recruiting new firefighters. Join us in our mission to protect and serve this incredible city. Tonight, I would like to extend my gratitude not only to each participant who dedicated time and energy for this training, but also to Chief Snow and our exceptional fire safety personnel. Your unwavering commitment to educating and reaching out to our community, your dedication to our safety, and your exceptional service have been instrumental in our achievements. It is because of your collective efforts that Wichita has earned a top fire safety rating. Your dedication and service have not gone unnoticed. Let us continue working together to ensure the safety of our community. Together, we have the power to make a difference, inspire change, and uphold the spirit of unity that defines Wichita. With your continued support, we will create a city where safety knows no bounds. Thank you, and may we all forge ahead on this noble path together. Congratulations.
Good evening, Mayor Wu, City Council, attendees here in chambers. On behalf of the Wichita Fire Department, I would like to acknowledge all the participants attending the Citizen Fire Academy for the past 10 weeks. They took their time out in the evening times to come visit the Wichita Training Center, and with all the assistance from all the fire stations coming in and is helping them out throughout each week, from search and rescue to fire attack to stretching hoses, they were very, very well attended it, and also to the point of very active. As since the 2012, our very first fire academy, we had the biggest class this year in 2024. We have quite a number of individuals that are not in attendance today because of vacation and not being able to make it today, but this was one of our biggest classes that we've had in the Fire Academy. So applications are always open for us. So anybody here in attendance would like to learn about what the Wichita Fire Department does on a daily basis, feel free to attend any of or go to any of our social media sites and our website and apply, and we'll be having the next Fire Academy. On behalf of, again, of all the Wichita Fire Department members that assisted, along with our lead instructor, Captain Zane, Lieutenant Morgan, and Captain Ake, which again, he's on vacation. Thank you very much for them, and I'd like to invite Shelley McGann. She is a spokesperson for the class.
Good evening, Mayor Wu, respected council members, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the 2024 Citizens Fire Academy class, we want to thank the Wichita Fire Department for hosting this class and giving us this opportunity. We want to extend our appreciation to Chief Snow, Fire Marshal Dugan, Chief O'Cades, Captain Zane, Captain Ake, who is not here this evening, Lieutenant Morgan, Kathy Kennard, and all the several firefighters for their time and energy in giving us a deeper understanding of a firefighter's duties. A firefighter's duties is not only difficult, but it is also dangerous at times. It is also very selfless on their part in serving our community. We have left this class with a greater respect for firefighters. During this class, we learned that firefighters from all over the country come to participate in a training program called HOTS here in Wichita. They come from all over the country, including Canada. So Wichita should be very proud to know that we have one of the finest fire departments in the country. Thank you.
Thank you to all those who participated in the proclamations and awards section of our city council meeting. It is now time for the public agenda time of the meeting. Again, each guest is invited to speak for up to 5 minutes, and Jamie, our clerk, will let you know when that 5 minutes is expired. And Madam Clerk, can you tell us who the first person is?
We have Zoey Baden, renewable energy, and a greener Wichita. Not get through that.
May I please ask, I believe these are the students from Independence School, to please all come forward at this time. Thank you very much, and Zoe, you may begin.
Hello, my My name is Zoey. I'm 10 years old. I think our schools are amazing and the neighborhoods are great. But according to the Asthma and Allergy Foundation of America, Wichita's air quality is considered the #1 air polluted state and city in the USA. I have always loved nature and greenery, so I suggest we should first plant more trees that provide us better air quality. According to the Eagle, in 2018, the city of Wichita found our tree canopy saved us from 3 million tons of yearly air pollution. Because of droughts, we are losing our tree canopy. Trees provide us shade, cut down the electricity bills, and break the wind. In addition, we should use recycled metal to create renewable energy resources, such as hydro, wind, and solar power. Yes, it will cost money, but it would help make Wichita a great big green city. This will also bring more jobs for our people. Our world is 71% water. Don't you think we can use that water? I would like our city to build more lakes to provide us with more fresh water. We are running out of fresh water and should be collecting more rainwater. Lakes also provide more nature and biodiversity for people to enjoy. People need more green spaces, and it is better for your health. According to the Mayo Clinic, nature makes people happier, less stressed, and overall mentally healthier. I would like to discuss my concerns on lost animals. When I was little, my mother and I saved a cat, and when I saw how many pets have no homes, my heart stopped. Pet owners should be required to place GPS trackers or microchip their pets so we can reunite animals with their families. I suggest that we make earth chips like they have in Tios, New Mexico. I would push construction workers into building more earth chips in gardens on top of roofs or near sidewalks along streams. Gardens will provide community members food. My model is a ranch earth chip home made from old tires, glass bottles, and recycled metals. I also have a rooftop garden that includes cucumbers, tomatoes, lettuce, roses, tulips, daisies, sunflowers, and corn that I would like to sell. I have a farm of horses, sheep, and a cat. I have a barn door that opens to let in the animals. All the water I use would come from rainwater, and goes to plants once I'm done. Please take my ideas and requests into consideration. Thank you.
Madam Clerk, please announce the next name.
Reno Polite, Sustainable Energy, More Responsible Trash Maintenance.
My name is Reno Polite and I studied wind power. I have lived in Wichita all my life, so these are the things I want to see in the future of Wichita. I built the wind stadium with the wind turbine. It will power the tent for the events, restaurants, and parking lots. Wind power has some problems, and I will explain those, but I have some solutions. The cost of the installation of wind power is very expensive, but you make up that cost in energy savings. I would like to see more solar panels, wind turbines, and other renewable energies in Wichita. According to the U.S. Department of Energy, clean energy is important because it has the power to enhance economic growth, support energy independence, and improve the health and well-being of the American people. They also state that the U.S. hopes to have 100% carbon pollution-free electricity by 2035. This means that we need to get serious and get busy to make our city a better place to live. There are several lakes and rivers where you should put hydro dams or water wheels on to harvest the energy. This would also work for the museums on the river and to power the lights and exploration place. So it would also make it cheaper to support. We have plenty of sun, so we should place solar panels on houses and businesses so we don't have to use as much fossil fuel energy and meet the carbon-free electricity goal by 2035. We need to also invest in geothermal energy. National Geographic claims that it can be basically put anywhere in the world, and the technology can last for decades and even centuries. It can heat or cool houses, universities, and even cities. It also provides constant energy. You don't have to rely on sun or wind, just the earth. We also need to stop littering and add more recycling businesses. Individual people can clean up the city by using recycling bins, and please don't use plastic bags and use reusable ones instead. This practice is helping you live better on this planet. In addition, I realized the air could be healthier, so we need to plant more trees so we can breathe better. If we ever find a planet that has air just like Earth, it would feel different, smell different, and it would just be easier to breathe because there would not have people there to pollute it. We need trash and recycling cans around the city so there will be less litter in neighborhoods or other businesses. These are just a few of my ideas. I know we can make Wichita a greener place to live. Thank you for listening to me today.
Madam Clerk, please announce the next name.
Arianna Hampt, Renewable Energy and Wichita Environmental Concerns.
Hello. Thank you for letting me speak to you this evening. The renewable energy I researched was hydropower. According to National Geographic, hydroelectricity is the largest single renewable energy source, providing 83% of all renewable energy in the United States. Also, I would really like to see hydropower facilities on major U.S. rivers like the Arkansas River, Erie Canal, Mississippi River, and the Missouri River. Fish have to get over dams, so I want to place a little hole for the fish to move up and down the rivers. I want the city of Wichita to look greener because we have the worst air quality according to the American Allergy Association. We should plant more trees and add rooftop gardens for fresher air. We can start an earth-wide cleanup. To celebrate Earth Day, we should plant flowers and trees and pick up litter like cigarettes, plastic bags, and recycle. While Earth Day would be a great start, we should encourage other recycling and composting companies to come to Wichita to start these types of businesses. Please recycle so we can reuse plastic, cardboard, and glass so we don't have to make more dump more in our landfills. We should also keep our water clean. Only 1.2% of our water is drinkable in the world. The water we are drinking is supposed to come from Cheney Lake. However, Cheney Lake was in a drought last summer, and we could not get water from it, so we had to use our reserves. According to your website, wichita.gov, our lawn only needs 1 to 1.5 inches of water 2 to 3 times per week, and not daily. While we had a lot of rain in May, if we ever get into a drought again, which we probably will, the city council should place water restrictions on lawn watering. We must keep our earth clean. Earth is our only planet we can live on, so please help the earth. Thank you for listening.
Madam Clerk, please call the next name.
Huck Litzner, Hydropower and Wichita Environmental Concerns.
Hello, and thank you for allowing me to speak today. I would like to share my vision for the future of Wichita. I researched hydropower, and I'm sure you understand how hydropower works. As my model portrays, the turbine is on a river and is connected to a generator. And the water from the river pushes the turbine. Then the spinning turbine powers the generator, which sends power to the YMCA. I would love to have a hydropower source right by museums on the Arkansas River. I think we should have it there because it would make a cheap and clean energy source for people that live in that area. The limitations of hydropower are that it relies on the water cycle, and that varies throughout the United States. And the fish ladders are killing so many fish. The solutions to hydropower's limitations are to make some way for fish to get over or under the fish dams using elevators like the Safe Harbor Dam in Pennsylvania. Also, everybody should start investing in electric stations to charge electric cars. According to Stanford University, if we continue at our current rate, we will run out of gas by 2052. In March, China released a new electric car called the Seagull for a shocking price of $9,700. Right now in the United States, you can't even get a nice used car for that price. In May, MSN announced that China created a battery that can charge in 10 minutes, and the new advanced model can go 600 miles without a charge. We need to get back in the game. This is the space race of the century. I think we should approach EV automobile companies to come to Wichita. Also, I would love to have a plasma gasification system in Wichita like the one in Denmark. According to Science Direct, a peer-reviewed journal in February of 2023, written by Sanjaya and Abbas, state plasma gasification has more environmental benefits over landfilling and incineration. This plant could be placed by Brooks Landfill. It is one of the highest points in Sedgwick County. Then skiers could have a mountain to hike up and ski down on a grass hillside, as they do in Denmark. Many young people have a desire to leave this state because they want more recreational opportunities. This would provide energy as well as a recreational hotspot. These are some of my ideas. I hope you take them into consideration. Thank you for listening.
Madam Clerk, please announce the next name.
Our last speaker is a tag team duo. We have Natalie Dinsmore and Payton Witthar, future of Wichita.
Hello, my name is Payton. And my name is Natalie. This is our vision for the future of Wichita. One thing we love about Wichita is the independent school. Our concerns are about wind energy, air, trees, space, and animals. We would like to see more wind energy in Wichita. There are some cons about wind power. Currently, wind energy companies are burying the wind turbine blades, and birds and bats are running into the wind turbines, or they mess with their migratory path. The benefits of wind power are that it is an earth-friendly energy source, and we should conduct some research on painting the blades black to see if it has an impact on the birds and bats population, and place wind turbines in areas where migration of bats and birds occurs the least. We also need to recycle the blades. Instead of streetlights and concrete, we can use glowing locks like they did with Smart Highway in Denmark. Instead of concrete sidewalks, we should make them out of solar panels like they are doing in Tampa Bay. You're probably wondering why concrete is so bad. According to The Guardian, concrete is bad because it causes 8% of our CO2, and we're also running out of buildable sand to make concrete. You can make energy for your house by having solar panels or wind turbines. And however, instead of a commercial-sized wind turbine, you can have a tree turbine. If you've ever been to WSU, they have a couple. It is a tree that harvests energy through its spinning leaves. We are also passionate about animals. We find roadkill and our parents say, oh, it's fine. Well, it's not fine. That's a dead life out there and it's not okay. We have the power to live, so why shouldn't they live? So a solution is we can build a tunnel like on some Colorado highways so they can go under the traffic. According to the Wichita Eagle, in 2023, there were 10,000 animals killed that year by automobiles in Kansas. We need to build a tunnel on Kellogg, K96, and 143rd. There are often dead animals on the side of the road at this location, including skunks, raccoons, turkeys, and deer. An improvement plan for this area is in the works, and adding an animal tunnel would also keep animals and people safer. In our model, we have built a pen of livestock behind the restaurant, so we do not waste energy transporting the animals on semi-trucks. Using local livestock and having local gardens would save gas and keep less CO2 of the atmosphere. Wichita can invest in more aquaponics and reduce the amount of emissions in our environment. Our model also includes a restaurant. This restaurant, Mr. Hungry, is named after my brother's nickname. It is designed to run on renewable energy. We have included a rooftop garden. According to Britannica, rooftop gardens are good for lowering building air temperatures and can decrease energy usage. We have a powerhouse for storing the energy produced by the wind turbine. According to the 2020 census, 75.1 children live in the United States, and our voices deserve to be heard. We hope you listen to us. If you would, we would have a greener community. Please consider our suggestions. Thank you for your time and consideration for the future of Wichita.
Vice Mayor Ballard.
I just want to say thank you so much for coming and speaking. You all are speaking my language, and Bob, if we could hire all of them. They have some fantastic ideas, and I love it. So thank you so much for your forward thinking, and you guys are going to make incredible adults and come to the city of Wichita if you guys need a job.
Councilmember Johnson.
Thanks, Mayor. I want to echo Vice Mayor Ballard. Thank you all for coming up here, speaking up for the environment. I say it every year. Some of us didn't listen to Captain Planet when we were younger, and you all give me faith that the new generation will definitely take care of our planet. I love the effort that you all put into that model, and each of you were braver than I was at your age, because there's no way I would go stand at a podium and talk in front of the council. So you are doing some awesome work already, but keep it up. And as you get older, don't let that desire to take care of our planet go away, because sometimes it does for some folks. Keep it up. Great job.
Councilmember Hoheisel.
Thank you, Mayor. How old are you kids? 10. Okay, we're not going to talk about what I was doing when I was 10 years old, but it's definitely not what you guys are doing. I appreciate it. No matter where your life takes you in the future, please continue to care about our society, continue to care about our environment. I know you guys want to do great things. Please stay here in Wichita. Again, I think we will get you in the Work Ready program. Also, could you take a second and just describe your model that you have here and just some of the aspects of it?
Mine's not here, but mine had looked like a duck to attract customers to looking at the animals and have a talk about saving the environment. I had basically a whole backyard full of animals, and I had a barn door. The bottom of the duck was the barn, and the top of the head was my house. On the top, I had a garden that had a bunch of vegetables and flowers that I could sell.
So for my model, I used some of his, so like the wind turbines are like he made them, so thanks to him.
That's recycling. That's what we call that.
So the wind turbines are so they can power the lights, like the red things that are in there. But I couldn't get the tents because like there's not enough room like on there. But if it was like realistic, it would have a restaurant and it would power those. And I think there's a restaurant in the wind surge. So yeah, that's pretty much what it is.
So mine is this one right here. So the circle is the reservoir with all the water in it. The two lines are like the pipes that go to the powerhouse, and like that cube is the powerhouse with a generator in it, which converts it into electricity.
Okay, mine is the YMCA, and it has wind turbines for energy, as well as a water wheel for energy. When the river isn't moving and the wind isn't blowing, they allow people to go into the YMCA for free and run on the treadmills to get the power going. Also, I would like to have a shout out to Mr. Stevens, our beloved STEM teacher, and he helped us make all of this.
Ours did include a rooftop garden. I think the plants died, but if you can see, there's a drive-through in the back. But the livestock we also forgot. And then there are some chairs and tables just set up outside so you can see the animals.
We also forgot the animals.
Well, I appreciate it, and I can't wait to see what you guys do in the future. I'm looking forward to that. And Bob, maybe we need to get that running group back in here, and they can power City Hall for us.
I just have a quick comment, if that's okay. And you beat me to it, Huck. I just wanted to thank the faculty or staff at Independence School for doing this. I think it's incredible. It's not only teaching our next leaders about the environment, but it's also teaching them that they should be involved in their city government and that we are approachable and we want to hear what you say. So a big shout out also to the faculty and staff at Independence School for bringing these wonderful students to us every year. Thank you.
Just wanted to echo the comments, but also to remind our community that this is exactly what public agenda is. It is an opportunity for ideas to come before the city council Thank you to the staff members at the independent school for utilizing this tool so that 6 members of your student body were able to share their ideas. And we appreciate the innovative ideas and solutions. And I just want to encourage you all, as you're standing before us, that you are leading. You are leaders. You don't have to sit in these seats. You're doing it by just being you, sharing those ideas, and trying to, again, remind our community that we can do our part of reducing, reusing, and recycling. And I think that those are ideas that, again, resonate with everyone in our community. And so I appreciate that you guys took the leadership role in coming before us, and thank you to your teachers and staff at the independent school for allowing this to come to fruition. So thank you so very much. Thank you. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
Consent agenda items 1 through 11.
So make a motion. Mayor, with a motion to approve consent agenda items 1 through 11.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? I see none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 7-0. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
Board of Bids and Contracts dated June 30th, 2024. June 3rd, 2024.
That's a tough act to follow, but I'll try. Good evening, Mayor and City Council. Josh Lauber, Department of Finance. The Board of Bids and Contracts convened June 3rd with the following items. For engineering, we have the biological nutrient removal Plant 2 Package 4 dewatering and centrate treatment improvements for the joint venture Donlinger Wildcat BNR BP04 LLC in the amount of $43,181,000. This is pending KDHE approval and subject to your approval of a new engineer estimate and budget authorization. For purchasing, we have 2 3/4-ton and stake bed trucks for Rustiak Ford Incorporated, Group 1 base bid with options 1 through 11. This is a clerical correction or a presentation correction for $78,891 each or per truck. That gives you an aggregate total for 2 trucks at $157,782. We have 1 Toro Multi-Pro 1750 sprayer for Professional Turf Products LP in the amount of $51,805.58. This is how to become a vendor with the city. These are requests for proposals out on the street today. And I'd be happy to try to answer your questions, and I recommend your approval.
Any questions for staff? Vice Mayor Ballard.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to ask about the very first slide that's for $43 million that said there were no other bids received.
Yeah. So this one had me concerned at the beginning because I wanted to verify a couple things. Those things were, this was above the engineer's estimate, so was this a fair price? The engineer's estimate in our bid package or bid report was submitted in the amount of, I apologize, I don't have that with me. Paul, can you give me that? And then in addition to, we reached out to see why vendors didn't respond to this. We worked on 2 different fronts. We worked with our consultant, CDM Smith, who was our paid consultant for the blueprint specifications and design specifications, and they stated, for the record, thank you for your phone call today, contractor outreach regarding package 4. We held a non-mandatory pre-bid meeting during the bid phase. Garver, as the owner's advisor, made additional phone calls to a few local contractors after this advertised. But with the amount of work on site already awarded to the joint venture Donlinger Wildcat and the amount of construction work in this area, I don't believe there are any other specialized construction firms interested in this project. That was one. Garver was the consultant that we pay for to have us with the construction management, and they stated. CDM Smith's description is accurate. Several contractor outreach meetings were held over the course of our design. There was a non-mandatory pre-bid meeting in which only one prospective bidder showed up, which was the Donlinger Wildcat Joint Venture. After seeing that, we did reach out to other contractors. One vendor posed some questions during the bid phase, so they at least considered. Another vendor who lost to packages 2 and 3 indicated it straight during the beginning of the process they would not be bidding on this package. And we also reached out to a couple of other vendors who would be regional contractors who completed this type of work, but we could not convince them to chase the project. This is important. A potential driving factor for the lack of bids is the fact that Donlinger Wildcat Joint Venture won packages 3 and 4. Once other contractors knew there was a large workforce already mobilized, they knew it would be challenging to complete from a pricing perspective. And then I'll let Paul complete out the engineer's estimate.
Good evening. As I recall, our engineer's estimate was $41.6 million, as I recall, somewhere in there.
Awesome. Great. I really appreciate that. I just always worry when we only have one bid, and that's a huge project. So I'm just curious why other people wouldn't be in line for it, but it makes sense. So I appreciate you doing the extra work.
Thank you for the great question. At the end of the day, it's the specialty of the work and the difficulty of getting the workforce mobilized.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Is there a motion? Any further questions? I see none. Is there a motion to approve? Sorry, my bad. We will now open it up for public comment. See none, we'll bring it back to the bench. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 7-0. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
Petitions for public improvements.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council members, Paul Gunsman, Public Works and Utilities. For the record, this evening I have a couple revised petitions for your consideration. The signatures on the petitions represent 100% of the improvement districts, and the petitions are valid per Kansas statute. The first petition before you is Brookfield South Edition, located in District 2. In October of 2022, the City Council approved sewer petitions for Brookfield South Edition. The developer has submitted a revised petition for Phase 1 with an increased improvement district. The budget remains as previously approved. The revised petition submitted for Phase 9 has a decreased improvement district and budget. Both petitions were revised to meet current market conditions and cover the cost of a private bid. The next location for your consideration is Pineway Edition, located in District 5. On February 6, 2024, the City Council approved petitions for water, stormwater drain, sanitary sewer, and paving improvements to serve Pineway Edition Phase 1. The developer has submitted revised petitions to change from city bid construction of the improvements to city acquisition of the improvements privately constructed by the developer. The budgets remain the same as previously approved. It is recommended that the City Council approve the revised petitions and budgets, adopt the amending resolutions, and authorize the necessary signatures. I will stand for questions.
Any questions for staff? I see none. We'll open it up for public comment. I see none. We'll bring it back to the bench. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? I see none. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 7-0. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
Petition to amend the Chicken and Pickle Community Improvement District.
Good evening, Mayor, members of City Council. Mark Elder with Development Services. The item for you today is a request for setting a public hearing on July 2nd. But the first step is the acceptance of the petition for the amendment and adopting the resolution to set that public hearing next month. So with that, the developer submitted a petition to remove specific parcels from the Chicken Pickle Community Improvement District. That does require that public hearing be set regarding that boundary change. This amendment will actually reduce the CID boundaries and area, but there's no increase in CID revenue towards that project. The reimbursement limit will remain at $2.3 million. So the area outlined in kind of the light purple there is what the existing district is today. The request is to remove the parcels and street improvement that they're in red, which would leave the proposed new CID boundaries as they're presented on this map here. So with that, the next step would be to accept the petition, adopt the resolution that would set the public hearing for July 2nd, 2024 for consideration of that amendment. I'm available for questions as well as we do have representatives from the development team that could also answer any questions.
Questions for staff? I have a question. Member Hoheisel.
Thank you. My first in line here. How much has been reimbursed so far?
Reimbursed? To date, I have about $630,000 reimbursed to date.
Okay, so about a quarter of the way there.
Correct.
Okay, this isn't going to mess with the revenue coming in to pay that off?
No, correct, because the revenue collected to date is solely generated by the chicken pickle development, and that's where the revenues are going. So removal of this parcel does not have an impact on that.
Okay, thank you.
Councilmember Glasscock.
We had briefly talked about this, I think, during Friday's review, but is this the first time, at least in recent history, that an applicant has actually tried to reduce the CID boundaries?
This is the second time that I recall any time happening. And actually was for this project or this district in the past. I'll show you. So the area that's kind of a hole in the district right there, that was removed, I believe, in 2021. But otherwise, this is the only project that's had areas removed in the past.
Okay, thank you.
Any further questions? My question was the same one as Councilmember Hoheisel. Again, it's $2.3 million, is that correct?
That's correct.
Will this put the city in a better position, or does this affect the city in any way regarding risk?
We see it as like no change really in the impact to the city on that.
Thank you. Any further questions? I see none. Thank you. We will open it up for public comment at this time. I see none. We'll bring it back to the bench. This resides in Councilmember Tuttle's district.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mark, for your presentation. Greatly appreciated and all the work that it took to get to this point. And I would move that the City Council accept the petition and adopt the resolution setting a public hearing for July 2nd, 2024, and authorize the necessary signatures.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? I see none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 7-0. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
Neighborhood Cleanup Program Professional Services Contract.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. My name is Brooke Couchok. I'm a Community Services Representative in the City Manager's Office, here to speak with you all tonight on the Neighborhood Cleanup Program Professional Services Contract. Some background on this. In February 2023, the city released a request for proposal, RFP, seeking qualified firms to provide services for all or some of the groups. This includes hauling services using compactor trucks, providing dumpsters, Group 3 collecting tires, Group 4 collecting potentially recycling mattresses and box springs, Group 5 metal, and Group 6 collecting potentially recycling tree debris. Proposals were due Friday, March 8th. I will also add proposals outside of these groups were also accepted. Here's some context as well. The top middle photo is a picture of the dumpsters typically used in the neighborhood cleanup program, and the bottom middle photo are the compactor trucks. You'll also hear packer trucks a lot. In response, Waste Management of Kansas, Inc., referred to as Waste Management, Waste Connections of Kansas, Inc., referred to as Waste Connections, Mobile Compacting Solutions, LLC, referred to in this presentation as Crusher Wichita, and Mid-Kansas Services, LLC, submitted proposals. That's a total of 4 responses were received. Waste Connections was the sole proposer for Group 1 compactor trucks, and both Waste Connections and Waste Management proposed services for Group 2, providing dumpsters. Crusher Wichita's proposal provided supplemental support to this group as well, dumpsters. Mid-Kansas Services, LLC, was the sole proposer for Group 4. That's mattresses and box springs. This table shows who submitted proposals and for which group or service. There were no proposals received for Groups 3, 5, and 6. However, the Staff Screening and Selection Committee decided to move forward and not solicit new proposals. The Staff Screening and Selection Committee, or SSSC, awarded bids to proposers in Group 1 for compactor trucks and Group 4 mattresses, including box springs. Both Waste Connections and Waste Management proposed services for Group 2, providing dumpsters. These firms were interviewed. The Staff Screening and Selection Committee recommends Waste Connections based on cost and capacity. Crusher Wichita's proposal provided supplemental support to Group 2. This proposal was eliminated due to liability concerns and cost. The current adopted budget has approximately $281,000 allocated within the landfill fund for program service costs. The Law Department has reviewed and approved the contracts as to form, and it is recommended that the City Council approve the contracts and authorize the necessary signatures. I'll stand for questions.
Questions for staff? Councilmember Johnson.
Go for it.
Thank you, Mayor. I probably should have asked you this first before the meeting, but being that there was no one who bid on tires, what's going to happen during a neighborhood cleanup for tires?
Yeah. Historically, the city's had a tire truck come with staff, and they collect tires using that. We also have metal scrappers who come. They aren't under contract, but they've been assisting us with this year's cleanups and recycling metal. Tree debris goes in the dumpsters and the packer trucks or compactor trucks, typically.
Okay, and then cost-wise, is this about the same cost as the last time we approved contracts or more?
A little more due to just rising costs, but similar, yes.
So a little more without the tires, like paying more money but getting a little less service?
Are you referring to the
Are these the same
compactor trucks or
vendors that we had
dumpsters?
before? Because I know we've had the tire service before as well. At least I thought we did.
At least as long as I've been with the program, we've had the city collecting tires. Last year, we did the pilot project that collected tires, but no proposer bidded on this group. So we've kept with the city collecting them, and it is an additional fee, but that was kind of embedded in our calculations.
Okay.
Yeah.
Councilmember Glasscock.
Few questions. Thank you for your presentation, Brooke. When it goes to the metal cyclers, again, you had said that they've been out at neighborhood cleanups because I've seen them at neighborhood cleanups. Why do we know why they didn't apply? Do they just like to show up? Is it less stringent for them to just show up which ones they want, or why would they not apply?
That's a great question. I don't know specifically without asking them directly, but I would assume barriers to the application process, potentially licensing and equipment, wanting to, if we did have them under contract, there would be insurance requirements and things like that.
Okay, thank you. This may be a question for you, perhaps a question for the manager too. How do we measure success in this program, especially historical trends of success, and have we seen, because of these programs, less dumping? And can we trace that to, hey, when we invest more and neighborhood cleanup programs, we have less dumping? Or do we not have the empirical evidence to prove that?
I know our current outcome measures are, we'll track quantitative data, number of cleanups, tons of waste collected, number of mattresses, box springs, number of tires collected. Overall, in terms of that more qualitative, is this making an impact? We cite a lot that broken window theory. If something looks nicer, you're less apt to want to vandalize, potentially attract different things. The environment, crime prevention through just cleaning up the neighborhood. I don't know if we collect metrics on how that reduces illegal dumping specifically, but our hope is that it does, especially as we have our neighborhood cleanups in illegal dumping hotspots, such as areas south of Kellogg, South Broadway, Plainview Hilltop areas, just sort of depends. But a lot of these neighborhoods rely on the city-funded cleanup to dispose of lots of bulky waste, including things that attract potentially. But I'm city manager, anything you want?
Mayor, if I could supplement that. We did do a review or study a few years ago regarding the impact, and what we found is that the neighborhood cleanups tend to have just a temporary impact in terms of dumping, in terms of reducing dumping in alleys and on vacant lots. So it's not something that I could tell you has made an impact that's lasting. That's why we're bringing a strategy forward later this year on other approaches to help reduce the dumping in vacant lots.
So hopefully to supplement this. Yep. And one of your comments has my last question. Out of all of the neighborhood cleanups, district by district, do you have a breakdown of how many are in each district handy?
2024?
Yeah.
Not with me, but I can get that for you.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you, Brooke.
Councilmember Hoheisel.
All right, thank you, Mayor. I've been to like 5 in my district so far this year. So we have quite a bit here. I think District 1 as well has quite a few as well. It's a program I wish we could expand to all Wichita, but we have some limitations with the funding, where the funding comes from and who qualifies for it. But I did have a question about the mattresses. Is this a group that recycles the mattresses? Is that why they're interested in doing this? I've heard several different groups that are out there that utilize the mattresses.
Great question. Yes, our vendor for Mid-Kansas Services LLC, he's able to take those mattresses collected and transport them to Hutchinson Correctional Facility, and there they are recycled. So yes, they are recycled.
Yep, I believe they make dog beds out of many of these mattresses, old mattresses.
Yeah.
So
I believe they're shredded, and yeah, that material is used for.
I wish the kids would have stuck around, because then they would see us recycling and reusing things. So, all right, I appreciate that. Thanks, Brooke.
Yeah.
Councilmember Glasscock.
Thank you, Mayor. Last question. I just thought of this when I looked at the financial consideration as well. Is the $281,000 allocated through exclusively federal funds, or does that come from general fund?
I don't believe that's exclusively federal funding. That's our landfill fund program, and that's specifically, I don't think that's general fund.
No, it does come from the landfill fund.
Yeah.
We used to have some federal dollars in the program, but those funds have been exhausted. We no longer have that as a funding source.
This is all local funds.
This is local funds through the transfer from the landfill fund, excuse me. Yep.
Any further questions? Thank you, Brooke. We'll open it up for public comment.
Good morning, good evening, Mayor and City Council. Vince Hancock from the Delano neighborhood. Getting to cleanups in a slightly roundabout way. First of all, I want to thank you guys and gals for having an evening City Council meeting. I know it's not easy for any of you, but you and I both know why you did it. It's appreciated. Hopefully we can work with comms and our media partners to even get some more attendance for the next 2 out of the rest of the year. It just goes to show that you can take the host out of kidding around Wichita, but you cannot take out her ability to inspire leadership in next generations. Pretty good thing. Next up, I want you to understand that for all of the wonderful people that we have on payroll in this staff, some in this room, In my personal opinion, the 6 most valued employees in the city of Wichita are our community services representatives. They are, I know it's being currently funded by CDBG grants, but that's where the rubber hits the road for us in the neighborhoods. They are our liaisons to you guys and gals, and we appreciate them so much. If that CDBG funding ever dried up, we would want to find another way to do that because they are so valuable to us, which leads into our cleanups. And it is local funding, and we appreciate that. It is so strange from a legal perspective that if somebody dumps a mattress on my front yard, it's my responsibility now to do that, to take care of it, to find a way. So you, through this vote, allow us to maintain a degree of civic pride in our neighborhoods. The people who dump mattresses, I don't know what their problems are, but obviously they're just not thinking like a good neighbor. But to be able to have a neighborhood cleanup, to have people providing the sweat equity to get out there and say, for 4 hours, we're going to get dirty, and we're going to help make our neighborhood a place that we are proud to live in. So thank you guys and gals for keeping us clean.
Any further public comment? I see none. We'll bring it back to the bench.
I just have a quick comment. I'm very supportive of the neighborhood cleanup program, especially the work that Brooke does every single day. I think as we move forward and we're looking at budget considerations, you know, one of the purposes for this program is that it, in my opinion, would help combat illegal dumping. So what's the benefit or the incentive for the community as a whole versus the individual help for individuals that need the service? And so I'd be interested in figuring out how we can make sure that it's fitting, I think, the ultimate aim of making sure that we don't have illegal dumping in the community. Not just, there's 2 benefits. Again, the neighborhood help plus the help to the community. The help to the community, I think, is the paramount, especially when we're looking at how we're dispersing funds. And so I'm supportive of this program. I've volunteered at multiple neighborhood cleanups, but I think the future of how we make sure that this is also helping combat illegal dumping would be something that I would be interested in the future. If there's ways that we can improve the system we use. You said it has a short lifespan on that, so how can we make sure that it has a longer lifespan? And maybe just be strategic on what that looks like in the future. But I'm supportive of it as it's presented today, too.
Is there a motion to approve?
Madam Mayor, I recommend that the City Council approve the contracts and authorize the necessary signature.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 7-0. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
ZON 2024-16, zone change requests in the city from SF5 Single Family Residential District to TF3 Two-Family Residential District for a duplex development generally located on the northwest corner of West Elm Street and North Elder Street intersection, 729 North Elder Street.
Good evening, Scott Wadle from the Planning Department. In this case, as you heard, the applicant is requesting to change the zoning from SF5 single family to TF3 two-family. This item is being heard today because the District Advisory Board and the Planning Commission, they both recommended approval, but their recommendations are slightly different, and I'll explain why. In terms of the request, the applicant has indicated they're requesting a zone change so that they can use the site for duplex development. Please note that 1 duplex could be placed per parcel, as indicated in the staff report. Ultimately, they could replat the property to do lot splits to get up to 3 duplexes, so 6 total dwelling units on the site. About the property, the site is generally located northwest of the corner of Elm and North Elder Street. It consists of 1 parcel, is approximately 0.46 acres in size, currently zoned SF5, and developed with a single-family house and a detached garage, which you can see on the aerial here. In terms of the context, the property is surrounded on all sides by SF5 single-family district, and those have single-family homes on them. However, multiple single-lot TF3 zone properties are within a few hundred feet of the subject site, and you can see those identified in yellow. In terms of review, on April 25th, the Planning Commission reviewed the request and recommended approval of the zone change. 13-0, there were no public comments on the request. On May 13th, the District Advisory Board reviewed the request and recommended approval of the zone change per the staff recommendations, But their difference from the Planning Commission is that the DAB recommended it with a protective overlay, and that vote was 7-1. There were no public comments on the request. And the protective overlay would have one condition, and that is that the duplex shall be designed and constructed with a hip or gabled roof. And so that would prevent a flat roof from being utilized for the structures. No protests were received against the case. Therefore, the zone change can be approved by a simple majority vote, or 4 of 7. In terms of recommendations, recommend the City Council adopt the findings of the Planning Commission and approve the zone change request, authorize necessary signatures, instruct the City Clerk to publish the ordinance after approval. Again, requires 4 out of 7 votes. Alternatives include the following. You can override the Planning Commission, adopt alternative findings, and approve the zone change with protective overlay recommended by the DAB. That would require 5 of 7 votes. You can also override the MAPC, adopt alternative findings, and deny the zone change request. Again, that would require 5 of 7 votes. Or, as always, you can return the case to the Planning Commission for additional consideration. It requires 4 of 7 votes. And just a brief note about the process. City Council policy is that the public hearing for planning agenda items occurs at the Planning Commission meeting. According to the policy, City Council does not typically receive public comments on zoning items. And with that, I'll take you through some of the graphics and images. So here's the aerial with red outlining the subject site. Here's the zoning map, which we discussed earlier. Here's the map from the comprehensive plan showing residential use is recommended at this location. Here are photos from the site and the surrounding area. And with that, I'll stand for any questions.
Any questions for staff? Councilmember Tuttle. Thank you. And Scott, this may be kind of a silly question, but sometimes when we have cases, zoning cases, and then, additions are added to what the applicant originally submitted, correct? And I've asked this question of you before. I just want to make sure that the applicant will know exactly what specifications they're supposed to do based on what the DAB recommended. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Yeah. Sometimes it's kind of more loose, and then I worry that the applicant doesn't know exactly what they're supposed to do to be in compliance, but in this case, you feel like the applicant understands what they need to do.
Yeah, the language is the same, both for the protective overlay. It's the exact same language as is in the staff report, which is the duplex shall be designed and constructed with a hip or gabled roof.
And they know what that means, right? Yep. Okay. Thank you so much.
Sure.
I see no further questions for staff. Vice Mayor Ballard.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to override the MAPC, approve the zone change request per the DAB recommendation with a protective overlay recommended by the DAB. Place the ordinance on first reading, authorize the necessary signatures, and instruct the city clerk to publish the ordinance after approval of the second reading. In support of this motion, I offer the following findings. The additional land use restrictions in the DAB recommendation protective overlay will help reduce potential negative impacts to nearby properties.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? I see none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 7-0. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
ZON 2024-17, zone change requests in the city from SF5 single-family residential district to TF3 two-family residential district for a duplex development generally located on the west side of North Joanne Street and within 1/4 mile south of West St. Louis Avenue, 339 North Joanne Street.
Scott Wadle again from the Planning Department. This case is very similar to the last one. In this case, as you heard, the applicant's requesting rezoning from SF5 to TF3. Again, this one is being heard today because both the District Advisory Board and the Planning Commission recommended approval, but the DAB had different conditions that they wanted to attach to it. In terms of the request, again, the applicant has indicated they're requesting a zone change so they can use the site for duplex development. In terms of the property, the site is generally located to the north and west of 2nd Street and Joanne. Subject site consists of 2 parcels. As you can see here, it is approximately 0.45 acres in size, zoned SF5. The south parcel is currently developed with a single-family home, and the north parcel appears to have an outbuilding on it. In terms of context, the property is surrounded on all sides by SF5 zoned property developed with single-family houses. Multiple single-lot TF3 zone properties are within a few hundred feet of the subject site. As you can see here, the yellow properties are TF3. In terms of review, on April 25th, the Planning Commission reviewed the request and recommended approval unanimously, 13-0. There were no public comments on the application. On May 13th, the District Advisory Board reviewed the request and recommended approval per the staff recommendation with a protective overlay added. One member of the public questioned how the developer would be able to fit enough parking on the northern lot. In terms of the PO is the same as what you saw in the last case. The duplex, any duplex should be designed and constructed with a hip or gabled roof. No protest petitions were received against the application. Therefore, it can be approved with a simple majority of 4 of 7 votes. In terms of recommendations, recommend the City Council adopt the findings of the MAPC, approve the requested zone change, authorize necessary signatures, instruct the city clerk to publish the ordinance after approval. Again, requires 4 out of 7 votes. Alternatives are the same as for the last case. You can override the Planning Commission, adopt alternative findings, and approve the zone change with the protective overlay as recommended by the DAB. That require 5 of 7 votes. You can override the MAPC, adopt alternative findings, and deny the application. It's 5 of 7 votes. Or as always, you can return the case to the MAPC, which requires a simple majority, 4 of 7 votes. And again, just a note about the process, that public comments occur at the public hearing at the Planning Commission. So I'll take you through some of the images and graphics. Here's the aerial showing the site. Here's the zoning map. Here's the map from the comprehensive plan showing that residential is recommended in this area. Here are photos from the site and the surrounding area. And with that, I'll stand for any questions.
Questions for staff? I see none. This resides in Vice Mayor Ballard's district.
Thank you, Mayor. I move to override the MAPC, approve the zone change request per the DAB recommendation with the protective overlay recommended by the DAB, place the ordinance on first reading, authorize the necessary signatures, and instruct the city clerk to publish the ordinance after approval of the second reading. In support of this motion, I offer the following findings. The additional land use restrictions in the DAB recommended protective overlay will help reduce potential negative impacts to nearby properties.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? I see none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 7-0. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
ZON 2024-18, zone change requests in the city from SF5 single-family residential to TF3 two-family residential district generally located on the east side of South Meridian Avenue within 1/2 mile south of West 55th Street North.
Hello again, Scott Wadle from the Planning Department. So there's a theme to the applications for tonight, and that is TF3. So in this case, the applicant is requesting to change the zoning from SF5 to TF3. This item is being heard today because one protest was received against the application, and I'll talk more about that in just a little bit. The applicant has indicated they intend to subdivide the property and to develop it for duplexes. In terms of the site is generally located to the south and east of 55th Street South and Meridian. The subject site consists of a portion of 3 existing parcels. You can see it outlined in red, and the parcel lines are actually the yellow lines. It is approximately 49.9 acres in size. It's currently zoned to SF5 and in agricultural use. In terms of context, property to the north of the subject site is zoned SF5 and is owned by the applicant. It is currently a field, but is proposed to be part of the applicant's larger development. I believe they intend to develop it with single-family homes. Likewise, the property to the south is also under the same ownership, zoned SF5, and they plan to develop with residential developments. Property to the east is zoned SF5 in the city of Wichita, and you can see here the Wichita city limits are this purple dash line that goes around. It is single-family residential, so the white area. We also have some property that's in the unincorporated county and zoned SF20. These are both currently in agricultural use. Property to the west across South Meridian is zoned SF20 in the unincorporated county and in agricultural use. In terms of review, on April 25th, the Planning Commission held a public hearing and recommended approval of this item 13-0. 2 members of the public spoke in opposition to the requested zone change citing concerns for overdevelopment and potential drainage issues. On May 13th, the District Advisory Board heard this case and recommended approval 6-0-1. One member of the public spoke at the hearing in opposition to the requested zone change, indicating that the requested zone change was not appropriate for the zoning, for the uses, or the character of the neighborhood. One protest was received. That protest is for property located outside of the protest area. Therefore, the zone change request can be approved with a simple majority of 4 of 7 votes. In terms of the recommendation, it is recommended that City Council adopt the findings of the Planning Commission, approve the requested zone change, place the ordinance on the first reading, authorize necessary signatures, and instruct the city clerk to publish. The ordinance, after approval of the second reading, requires 4 of 7 votes. Alternatives include the following. You can override the Planning Commission, adopt alternative findings, and deny the zone change request. That would require 5 of 7 votes. Or as always, you can return the case to the Planning Commission for additional consideration. It would require 4 of 7 votes. And again, just a note about policy that public comment typically takes place at the Planning Commission meeting. Take you through some of the images. So here's the subject site outlined in red. Here's the zoning map, which was described earlier. Here's the map from the comprehensive plan showing that this is actually was identified in the Hayesville growth area. But in terms of annexation, property owner chose to annex into the city of Wichita, and it was annexed into the city of Wichita fairly recently. Here's the South Wichita Hayesville area plan. We did not include the arrow on this one, but it is recommended for residential use. Here's the protest map. Again, this one's a little bit different because of the intersection of city and county, unincorporated county. But as you can see, the protest was this purple area to the north. So it was outside of the protest area, which is outlined in green. Here are photos from the site and the surrounding area. And with that, I'll stand for any questions.
Any questions for staff? I see none. This resides in Councilmember Glasscock's district.
A brief comment. This actually went before DAB twice. I don't know if it went through MAPC twice or not. In terms of this entire parcel of land and where they're located at, one of the recommendations from the original time it went before DAB was further north. They heard concerns from some of the neighbors about multifamily developments being there, the duplex style developments being there, and so the applicant actually resubmitted the application and moved it south, further away from the single family resident property at the start. So I'm appreciative of that work as well. With that finding and seeing there's no other comments, I recommend the City Council approve the requested zoning change, place it on first read, and authorize the necessary signatures.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? I see none. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 7-0. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
Approval of travel for Mayor Wu to attend the Asian Pacific American Institute for Congressional Studies Women's Collective Summit to accept the Spotlight Award June 28th through 29th, 2024 in Seattle, Washington.
I will add one more comment that there will be no taxpayer dollars spent on this opportunity where I will receive the Spotlight Award in Seattle. Is there a motion to approve this?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those, I guess I don't get to vote. I'm going to abstain. Motion passes 6-0 with one abstention. Madam Clerk, please call the next item.
Council member appointments and comments.
Vice Mayor Ballard.
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to reappoint Robin Templin to Library Board along with Jonathan Winkler for Library Board, and I'd like to appoint Constance Paraska for my ethics appointment.
Any further board appointments? I have one. For the Stormwater Advisory Board, it will be reappointments with one new addition. Reappointments are Kay Drennan, Scott Lindebeck, George Sherman, Don Kirkland, Gary O'Borney, Gentry Thiessen, Don Henry, and Allison Herring, with the new addition, Tim Austin. Do I have a motion to approve board appointments?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 7-0. We will not be adjourning because we have a special, we have comments now, I apologize. Council members, do you have any comments? Vice Mayor Ballard.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd just like to recognize Jim Garcia. He was a long time employee of the city. He passed away this last week, and so just wanted to recognize him. He's the father of the daughters from Connie's Mexico Cafe.
I see no further comments. I will now request 2 executive sessions for the city council meeting for today, and I will read the 2 motions. I move that the city council recess into executive session for 30 minutes to receive information on union negotiations pursuant to KSA 75-4319B4 for legal consultation with the city attorney, which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship. This is for legal advice and to discuss employer-employee negotiations, whether or not in consultation with the representative or representatives of the public body or agency. The executive session is required to protect attorney-client privilege and public interest, and to protect the city's rights to the confidentiality of its negotiating position and the public interest. In addition, we will have a second executive session immediately following, also 30 minutes, to receive information on security matters pursuant to KSA 75-4319B12 for legal consultation with the city attorney, which would be deemed privileged in the attorney-client relationship for legal advice. This is to discuss matters relating to security measures. The discussion of such matters at an open meeting would jeopardize such security measures that protect A, systems and other items, B, transportation, C, a public body or agency, D, private property or persons. Therefore, for this purpose, in this paragraph, security means measures that protect against criminal acts intended to intimidate or coerce the civilian population, influence government policy by intimidation or coercion, or to affect the operation of government by disruption of public services. These security measures include, but are not limited to, intelligence information, tactical plans, resource deployment, and vulnerability assessments. The executive session is required to protect attorney-client privilege and the public interests. In addition, to protect the security of the city, its public works, buildings, facilities, and information systems, and to protect the security of private property or individuals. This executive session, again, will be in conjunction with the previous executive session read, so it will be a total of 1 hour. It is currently 7:36 p.m. So we ask.
Mayor, I just want to advise that we take the motions separately for a vote. You've read them, you don't need to reread them, but I would recommend that you take the first motion, and it's for 30 minutes, and then we'll vote on the second motion for 30 minutes.
Also, Mayor, I think we can do the first one in 20 minutes. If you want to do 20 minutes, and then I do think we need 30 for the other.
Okay.
Thanks.
I will start again with just the executive session regarding our union negotiations, which will be 20 minutes in length. So it is 7:37 now, so 7:40 basically. So we shall come back at 8 o'clock here and then start the next executive session.
We'll just make them run consecutive if you wish.
Okay.
If you wish. So 7:40 to 8 p.m.
7:40 to 8 p.m. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 7-0. For the second executive session, which will start at 8 o'clock, we will take 30 minutes for that. So 8:30 is the return time. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes 7-0. We will return at 8:30 p.m. Thank you.
Good.